Hello, it's Danny Blue and my son Nicholas Blue,
Hello.
and we are doing mapping an issue. My last video segment for interpersonal communications at Warner Pacific College. We're going to go through the 9-step process, the best that we can here. So, step 1: identify and define the issue. So we've identified an issue, and the issue is my son Nicholas and my daughter Kaylee consistently arguing and nitpicking with one another, and the issue is that it's starting to affect their relationship as a brother and sister, and it's affecting my wife and I, because we're always having to mediate, and it's really affecting their relationship. Would you agree?
Yeah, I can agree.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
So the issue, do you believe that's an issue, you and your sister?
It can be at times. It's not really that bad of arguments, but just like a brotherly, sisterly argument.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so step 2, we are going to contract to work through the issue. And what that looks like... is are you interested in working through this issue and ready to work together to solve this issue and make things a little easier?
Yeah, I believe it could be easier if we would work together as a team to solve this problem and stop arguing.
So to work as a family and kind of, so you're ready and willing to make this work.
Yes.
Okay. And it's not something that's just going to happen overnight. We as a family are going to have to work on it, right?
No, it can work overtime.
Okay. All right. So, so you and I can understand this issue completely. It doesn't just affect you and your sister. The issue is the bickering and arguing, and we have to put a stop to it to preserve our relationships with each other.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So that's step 3. We understand, or he understands the issue completely. Step 4 is identify the wants for SOS, which is self, others, and stakeholders. So I would say the wants for myself is that I would love for the kids to argue less, I guess. And for others, my wants for others would be to reduce them seeing the kids argue, or having them have to experience that.
Yeah,
would you
miss in public probably?
Yeah, that others having to experience the issues in public, the kids bickering over things that don't even matter, really. And for the stakeholders, the wants for the stakeholders is, I would love for the rest of the family, really, they're the stakeholders, to get involved and help solve these arguments, or let them work it out more, instead of just getting mad at them and telling them to go their separate ways, or stuff like that. what else could we do for the other people involved, the stakeholders? What would we want for them?
Just to, like, talk through the problem.
And maybe want for them to be less stressed out by us solving the issue.
Yeah, just take it off their worries.
Okay. So that would be our wants for our SOS. My SOS system. Let's see here. So step 5. Step 5: generate and consider options. So we're gonna brainstorm what we could actually do to resolve the issue, or at least move it forward. So, what are some of the things that we can do to resolve the issue, or at least move it forward in a positive manner?
Work through the problem most of all, and talk through it instead of responding back with negativity.
Okay, so is most of the time when you guys argue, if she's coming to you and picking on you, do you respond with negativity? Or kind of just lash back at her instead of being taking the high road, I guess, and the high road would be being the bigger person and just saying, Kaylee.
Well, I'll be honest, about more than half the time I do that.
You do what?
Avoid the problem and try to agree with her and solve the problem. But I can do that sometimes also, which is come back.
Okay. So what would be good options that we could work through?
Try to agree with the situation and work through it and negotiate on what we can do next time for that to prevent that to happen again.
Okay. So we could do things like when you guys are arguing, you could use an I statement and tell Kaylee, hey, I feel like we are arguing right now, so I would like to take some time and figure out what the problem is, or kind of accept responsibility for yourself and try and work through the issue in that way.
Yes, accepting responsibility would be a good way to deal with the problem.
Right. I mean, what are some other options that we could do?
I'd say probably agreeing with it or negotiating on how to solve this in the future and not totally avoid the problem, but work through it. With her opinions.
Okay. What about new possibilities? What are some other things that we could do to better this situation?
Talk through it and probably try to not state as much negativity, but ask kindly to not do that or to just avoid the situation.
Okay.
In general, speak your thoughts and not what you wouldn't want to say, rather than what you should say.
Okay. All right. So, step 6, we have to choose the actions, and we want to choose the options that are most workable and beneficial for everyone. We want to combine these actions and confirm who's going to do what by when. Well, the actions are going to be less lashback, right?
Yes.
What else? Taking
responsibility and working through the problem.
And taking the high road.
Yes, being the bigger person.
Taking the high road and using your I statements.
And working through the problem. Without getting frustrated or...
Okay. Alright. And do you think that's going to be beneficial for everyone?
Yeah, it would be beneficial for everyone because they'll understand the situation that's going on, that we are accepting responsibility or working through the problem and realize that it's not going to happen.
Right. I agree. What when do we think when when can we all kind of start getting on board with this
If we come together as a team as soon as
as a
possible,
family?
yeah, whenever it happens, we can just solve it then instead
So-
of postponing.
So we'll you'll take action today.
Yes, if it occurs.
So if it occurs, so the next time it occurs, which will probably be today,
Most likely.
you're gonna try and take the high road for yourself.
Yeah.
And me, Dad, I will try and facilitate, and I will help Kaylee understand what's happening, and I will help remind you to take the high road.
Yeah.
Does that make sense or?
Yeah, it does. I understand.
Okay. Because I want nothing more than you and Kaylee to be, good friends.
Yeah.
As you guys get older, not drift apart.
Mhm.
Do you think that's important or?
Yeah, it's important. I mean, if we keep arguing in the past, then it will only get worse in the future if we don't solve it now.
Yeah, I agree. All right, good. Step 7. Test the action plan for the best fit and commitment. So why don't we take a second and think about carrying out these actions in the next argument, considering it affects everyone. Because even I have to take a second and reflect on it, because I know that sometimes your mom and I can just get frustrated at the situation and just get mad at you guys and not let you guys work it out, or not let you take the high road, or maybe even get mad at you when you did take the high road. So why don't we just take a moment and think about what that looks like, and see if that's something that we can follow through with and make work.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it'll work. What do you think?
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we should add to that, or? I think
No.
that, so we can start implementing that today. Then I like that idea.
Yes, if we execute, it'll work out fine.
All right. Step 8: implement future actions. So as far as implementing future actions, not just today, but we gonna be able to carry this out? Why don't we give it a solid, conscious 2 weeks, and then we can go from there. And then if we need to adjust, we can adjust from there. What do you think?
Well, yeah, there'll definitely be time for improvement in the 2-week period, but if we execute now, the future will be fine, and it should be easier then. If
Okay.
we work through it.
All right. So we're gonna keep our promises and our commitments,
Yes.
and I will accept full responsibility for my actions, and
Accept responsibility for my actions and
And-
follow through with it.
okay, and we'll have a team meeting with Kaylee and Mom, and I think that could be some of our future actions as well. Back to the actions is we'll have a team meeting, a family meeting, and kind of talk about how we're gonna place these actions and what we're gonna do and what taking the high road means, and so Kaylee knows what's going on, so we're not just confusing her.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Step 9: evaluate the outcome. Well, I think as far as evaluating the outcome is going to be good if we continue to use the things we're putting in place for action to kind of stop the arguments and the pettiness, right?
Yeah, I agree. So if we start earlier, then we can move on faster.
Okay. All right. I'm really pleased, and I think it's going to be a good outcome. So that is mapping our issues, steps 1 through 9, and I hope this video was informative enough. And this was a real life issue with that affects our family, myself, others, and the stakeholders, which all kind of follow in line with the SOS. This is Danny Blue and Nicholas Blue, and we're done.